What's going on, you guys? It's MrFoggia back here with another episode of New Start Soccer, and we're going to talk about the only, the big game which just happened right now and which just finished: Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspurs, where Manchester United beat Tottenham Hotspurs 2-1 in the FA Cup. And we're going to talk about this game in detail, and the reason why I say in detail, this is what I mainly want to talk about. There's a couple of topics about this in particular match. A couple of players are going to get a bit of shout-outs, but mainly because this match in general was probably one of the best semi-finals that have been. One of the best Man United performances as well in recent times, in my opinion. I think both teams performed very well, but United eventually came out on top. First off, I want to say this. Congratulations to Manchester United. They deserved the victory, in my opinion, versus Tottenham. I'm not saying that Tottenham Hotspurs did not play well or did not put on a performance. Do listen here. I just think out of the two teams, Man United played better on the day. And I do feel sorry for Tottenham in the case. But however, I am happy that United won as well at the same time, because now it's an interesting cup going into the final, which will be either against Chelsea or Southampton. More likely to be Chelsea, just because of the team comparison, but I could be wrong. There is one or two things which I will talk about. First thing which I will be talking about is basically the match itself. I was watching it, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about. As I said, the things I want to talk about is actually the commentary, and Danny Murphy in particular. I was watching it on BBC Sport, and I'm going to tell you something. BBC One, BBC Sport commentary, Danny Murphy. I've never met a more biased Tottenham Hotspurs commentator than Danny Murphy throughout the whole match. Basically, anything that United did, he gave one compliment in the whole Man United thing, saying certain individuals played well during the match. However, the whole actual match itself, he was very Tottenham biased. I admit some of the things he said, it was right. I think a lot of things he was like the boy who cried wolf, who wanted a foul. Do I feel Spurs were a bit unfortunate with the fouls and bookings? Maybe not. I seen them given. I seen them not. I'm not going to be biased. I feel like Spurs played extremely well. Would I say they individual performance from Christian Eriksen? Just to name a few, Christian Eriksen probably man of the match in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, Man United got man of the match. Alexis Sanchez, that old question as well, but the main man of the match for me is got to be Christian Eriksen. I just think overall it's just due to the fact that Man United kept their persistence going. After Spurs were 20 minutes in, after they were 1-0 up, they managed to find themselves more energy to come into the match. And individual performances, I think Herrera played well, I think Lukaku proved his worst, Sanchez, excellent player of the day. Probably, as I said, Man United's man of the match, but their man of the match, no. Eriksen, I think, was all-round the guy. I kept on saying in the match, United need to mark Eriksen, because Eriksen are the reason why Spurs are doing well, not because anyone else. It's Eriksen. So, yes, so be it. It's a bit unfortunate, but it's just the way how it goes sometimes. You don't get things. I think Eriksen deserves to be in the final. Couple others I wouldn't really say, but Eriksen for me, as I said, the man of the match, the player who can do a lot, but nope. I don't care, I'll come off the bench and do my damage in this game. But there is a lot of talking points about this match. I don't know where else to talk about. I'm trying to keep myself calm and composed and talk about the right things at the right time. We'll start off with Spurs in the first 20 minutes. Poor defender by Ashley Young. I think he's one of the low-rated ones. Dele Alli with a Fortnite celebration. Oh, that kind of annoyed me. Just seeing it, it's just cringe. I honestly hate everything about Fortnite. It's just cringe-worthy. It's like an average game, if anything. It's only ideal. It's only getting hyped because everyone's playing it. In my opinion, I'm not a fan of Fortnite, and I'm not the only one who ain't a fan. I think there's quite a few people who won't like Fortnite, but so everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That is that. The next thing which we'll be talking about in this was the way how Man United managed to compose themselves. Spurs were going to get their second. If United didn't watch out, Spurs would have got their second goal to make it 2-0, and arguably they did deserve it, but United just gave enough power to do well and survive the scare of not doing it. But they have played extremely well, I'm going to be honest. There's not, as I said, there's not an individual who I can fault throughout the game. I think the worst player was Ashley Young, but a lot of them played extremely well. I'm not going to say anything else besides that for Man United and Spurs players. There was a bit unfortunate, a bit of controversy with the referee and official. I don't think he done too well. I meant too bad that you can criticise him too much, but there's a couple of calls which apparently favoured one team, our team or their team. That's what they would like to each other. I don't care about Shell. I don't know why. I don't want the ad to come up. Anyway, as I was saying, our team or their team sort of thing. I don't know why I'm saying our team, Man United or Spurs sort of thing. I keep on saying our team, their team. Come on, focus. Man United or Spurs, that's the reason for that. Besides that, is there anyone else that I've forgot to talk about, or anyone in particular? I'm just trying to think. Then obviously second half came out, Man United came fighting for the goals. They got the goal with Herrera, arguably another great player for Man United. A very, very strong performance from Phil Jones and Chris Smalling as well. It's basically Man United, I think, done better out of the two teams, but you don't see them get the recognition because it's Manchester United, and instead you get the criticism of the commentators like, that was a foul, how did they play like that, this and that, da 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 da. All I heard was this from Danny Murphy, all talk. I'm just flapping my arms like that. I know it sounds weird, but basically that's what I'm doing. I didn't like the commentary. I honestly thought they could have had anyone commentate better than that, but they didn't, so let it be. Is there anyone who deserves a big shout out? Honestly, I know this sounds odd. I think Mourinho turned it around. I think for once United fans can't complain about Mourinho and getting his tactics because I think they're almost spot on. But fans will obviously complain, and you just have to wait and see what fans will be like because they do have a pinch of salt. Again, I don't want to see ads yet. I'm getting them all the time. No, I don't want ex-professional boots. I don't need them. It's not like they're gonna do anything. They say you want to borrow 5M, then you want to buy them. It's pointless. Besides that, Pochettino, I don't know if Pochettino's the right guy for Spurs. Not a rude one. I know Spurs have been very successful, and Pochettino's partly the reason behind it. What I mean is, unless the board get behind them, and then they have a good summer, I don't see Pochettino being happy there. I see a lot of issues more than happiness coming out of that club at the minute. Obviously, you have a little controversy with the contracts of player wages. They're probably one of the more cheaper clubs within reason, but you think about it, they are one of the more cheaper clubs, but they're one of the more homegrown clubs as well. A lot of English representation in that team. I even mean like small things like, for example, Kieran Trippier, arguably the best right back this season behind Kyle Walker. Obviously, I can't be biased. In my opinion, they're both really strong. They both have done a lot for their clubs this season. I think Carl has been more of a centre back more than a right back. But that's the way how it works out, and that's the way it will be. Besides that, I didn't really see much out of Spurs that will make me go too well. Davinson Sanchez with some brilliant play, and I think Dyer done well as well. Vaughan was unfortunate not to save both goals, but I think his positioning was the main flaw for Spurs. But as I said, there was just more controversy about the refereeing in the game, giving away fouls, bookings, all of that. But overall, I would say one of the better FA Cup semi-finals. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, a like button down below. If you didn't, feel free to dislike. Comment section. I swear to God, I hate these ads. Anyway, like if you didn't. Like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't. Just comment section down below what you want to see. Subscribe if you're new around here. And that's it for today's episode of New Star Soccer. And yes, do not worry, I am doing FIFA Mobile in about half an hour, 40 minutes. I just need to do one or two things I need to prep before I do that. Okay? Adios.